Hello guys, today is November 16th, Tuesday, and today the editorial is coming a little bit late because the articles also were a little bit lengthy and there are other things also to be done. So today's articles at a glance we'll first see before going into the detailing. Okay. So this one is exception to the rule. This is about the CBI and Enforcement Directorate. Their term has been increased and that is in a little bit of controversy. So we'll study a little bit about the theory of CBI and Enforcement Director because that is what will come in your prelims exam. And then Pegasus, already 2 3 articles we have seen, and this again a little bit more detailing. Okay. Then here, if you see EU's role in the Indo-Pacific is also important now because of the Quad, and then AU, US, one grouping is there. So what should European Union strategy be there in the Indo-Pacific? So this is also important. Then here bat, okay, bat now after coronavirus and all, it's like the most misunderstood species. Like it is like a enemy to everyone. Okay, but what all services, ecosystem services it gives to us that nobody is talking about. So about that, this discussion is also important. So these are the 4 important articles, most important, which we'll discuss. And here if you see this box is about the unknown sources, the funding which comes for political parties, electoral bond concept. So that concept is important for you, which is already covered in multiple places, but we'll still cover it. Okay, so this is also important. So 5 important things. Now if you see this one, silver line on the right track, this is actually about a railway line from Kerala's north to south. Okay, Trivandrum in the south to Kasargod in the north, semi high speed railway construction. So this is not a article of technicalities. It's actually political article where the BJP and Congress, who is not there in power now, are opposing the CPIM party, who is there in power now. Okay, telling like environment concerns are there. It's not well planned. So that kind of thing. So there is no technical things in there. So what is the semi speed railway? That in just one table I'll show you. So other than that, nothing else is there in this article. Okay, then here if you see demonetization, this person is like last 2 3 days is writing the same thing simply because 5 years have completed for demonetization. So it's just to what to say, tell all the negativities of it. Okay, there is no single good point, a positive point, or logical point. He keeps telling like, okay, this failed, black money failed, that failed, this failed, and finally even he's telling like Modi's regime is like the Tughlaq regime, and so it's from that line itself we can understand the agenda of this article. Okay, if that was not there, then at least it will be like a in the interest of the country, maybe telling okay, this is failed, that is failed, and what should be done in future. Here and all there'll be no solutions. Okay, simply anybody can tell like okay, that is problem, this is problem, anybody can tell. So that problematic kind of articles you need not read. Okay, as a tip also I'm telling you, let it be anything. It can be favor of the government, it can be against of the government, but if it is telling first itself as the prime minister as something as the Tughlaq, and then you start an article or end an article, then your intentions are clear. So please don't read such articles. Okay, else demonetization, many other good articles will come, we'll discuss. Okay, because criticism has to be done. Whatever has failed has to be told as failure, but if it is written purposely to defame a government, it should not be read. Okay, so that is not important. Now this one, if you say return to form, this is about Australian cricket team, won the World Cup. Okay, so about that. So now it's not important for us, but now UPSC has asked questions, about the ICC championship, test championship, then also that also was New Zealand and all in the question which came. And then if you see the other one, the Olympics question. So based on that, just for the basic sake, you can just know, okay, like T20 World Cup happens like every 2 years. It started around in 2007. So that basic table alone, else I am not going to teach you anything because for UPSC students, it's a waste of time. Okay, unless again they repeat a lot of sports questions. So if you see the first World Cup, India only won in 2007. Okay, and India defeated Pakistan. So that is why this year is also India's Pakistan match. If you see, I think Hotstar's most viewership is still for that match, not even for the final match. It is for India Pakistan match. Okay, so this alone table, if you want, you can just go through. 2007 it started, now 2021 here Australia won the match. Okay, UAE was the venue. So like this happens. And who won the maximum times? If you see, West Indies have won 2 times. Okay, the T20 World Cup. This is different from the 50-over match. Okay, those who don't know cricket, 50-over match and 20-over match will happen. So in 50-over match, it's a different thing. Australia is always kind of 4 5 times they have won. So in T20, Australia is winning for the first time. Okay, so that is why that article is like return to form. Okay, Australia returning to form. Here they reached finals, but they couldn't win. Okay, in 2010. So that's it. Nothing more than that we'll discuss here. Now about the railway, as I told, this semi-high speed rail. This is what is in Kerala. Construction is going on, or what is in debate. So that you should know. Only these two numbers you have to remember: 160 km per hour and 200 km per hour. So whatever is less than 160 km per hour is called conventional rail. What is 160 to 200 is called semi-high speed rail, and what is more than 200 is called high speed rail. Okay, this I'm just telling you so that in case you need to write in your mains or in case prelims they ask very factual thing, you have to know. Other than these numbers, that article is of no use. It's a political article. Okay, so that is also done. Now we'll go to one by one. One is that table. Okay, where electoral bonds, which I told. Okay, so parties and their unknown sources of income. So about 55% of the funds received by the regional parties, okay, it's more of the regional parties which is being highlighted, were from unknown sources. Okay, so there is an analysis done by Association for Democratic Reforms. They tell like income from unknown sources are those which is, for which there is no detail of who donated, who gave the money. Okay, so it can be through electoral bond, it can be sale of coupons, it can be miscellaneous income, voluntary contributions, many things are there. Okay, so this income from known source, unknown source and all, they have charted it in different things, and importantly these five parties, they are telling most of the thing is through unknown source. Okay, TRS, TDP, BJD, YSRCP and DMK. Okay, so these are all regional parties, not national level parties. So that is the first thing. Now they have given it again chart format and pie chart format and all. If you see, this much big is donation received from electoral bond, okay, 426 crore, and remaining if you see this much only from other things. So electoral bond is a legal thing only, but it is unknown source, and what is it, we'll try to understand, because for your prelims it is required. Okay, and if you are a very serious aspirant, this learning is not enough. You have to enroll to our test series and learn from the prelims and mains test series both. Okay, else how much ever you watch editorial, I can guarantee you that you will not clear prelims by just watching editorial. Okay, editorial is mandatory, but just editorial is not enough for a serious aspirant. Others for time pass can keep watching this alone. Now electoral bonds, okay, these are not in the Hindu, we are giving you just for your understanding. So electoral bond is a financial instrument for making donations to political parties. Okay, so that is clear. So it is one step forward compared to the old system of cash funding. Earlier, you know, in lot of cash, black money, everything funding used to happen, and nobody can know how it is going or whether it is white money or black money. So the electoral bond has actually eliminated that black money concept. Okay, but still the funding is unknown. So how we'll see? Okay, basically I'll tell you how it is. It is actually through SBI. Okay, SBI bank, you know. So suppose you want to donate, suppose 1 lakh rupees, okay, or 10 lakh rupees, you have to give to Congress party. Okay, so you will go to SBI and tell me like, give me an electoral bond. Okay, you will give 10 lakh rupees, but that 10 lakh rupees also you cannot give as cash. You have to give as check or DD only. So it is a legal money, okay, through bank. So that you'll give to SBI. SBI will give an electoral bond in the name of that one. Okay, but in this there will be no name written. Like if suppose Vaish is your name, that Vaish name will not be printed anywhere here. It will be simply a 10 lakh rupee bond which you bought. Okay, so this bond paper now you will go and give to the Congress party. Congress party can redeem it from the SBI into directly their already registered account. There will be an account for that party which is registered with the SBI. In that directly the cash will come. So everywhere it's clean money which has to be through banks. There should be no like in sacks you are carrying lot of cash and going. Okay. Also denomination should be, or it should be multiples of 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh like this. Okay. Meaning there is no maximum limit. You can give 1 crore, you can give 100 crore, you can give whatever is your thing, but minimum is 1,000 rupees because it's multiples of 1,000. Okay. Meaning 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 or 20,000, 30,000, 30 lakh, 40 lakh like that you can give. Okay, so this is the system. Now State Bank of India is authorized to issue and encash these bonds which are valid for 15 days from the date of issuance, meaning immediately also should be done. It's not like you kept it for buffer and then later whenever you want it, because it's given for a purpose. It's for the election funding. Okay, so these bonds are redeemable in the designated account of a registered political party. Okay, registered political party, not like anybody can start a political party and just like that go. Okay, the bonds are available for purchase by any person, but that doesn't mean non-citizens. Okay, it's a citizen who is a citizen of India or a incorporation, a body, okay, incorporated body in India. So a citizen or an incorporated body in India for a period of 10 days each in a month. Means central government will tell, okay, like in January, April, July, October, 10 days will be like, okay, today electoral bond is open. Immediately go run to the bank and those 10 days you can do it, and then they'll give to the party, and party within 15 days can encash that. Okay, within 15 days can encash into the designated account. So this is the process. So this will be specified by central government. Now a person being an individual can buy bond either singly or jointly. Okay, meaning 4 or 5 people together also can go and contribute and buy a single bond. Okay, now donor's name is not mentioned on the bond. That is why the anonymity is there. Now misuse of electoral bond is the issue, and that is what is being told in the article also. So neither the donor, who could be an individual or a corporate, nor the political party is obligated to reveal whom the donation comes from. Okay, because the bonds are purchased through the State Bank of India, SBI, the government is always in a position to know the donor is. So we are telling like nobody will know, but SBI is under whose control? It is under central government control only. So that is why people are telling that government will anyway come to know like who is donating. Okay, now, but others will not be able to know. The one who is in power, they will be coming to know. Now a shell company also can be made, right? A shell company will be made, and through too much money through that somehow will be parked into that company, and then they will be giving to the political party, meaning they themselves have a lot of black money. They'll somehow convert it into as if it is an asset of a new shell company, and then they'll be giving it. So it's like round tripping, and it is like you are actually saving tax and making your black money into white money. Okay, so these are the kind of misuses. So if you have to write the criticism of this, these are the points you have to write. Now government will respond to this. So government response is that only the parties registered under this Representation of People Act 1951, they could receive the donations through electoral bond. Okay, and they also should have should not have secured less than 1%, meaning more than 1% votes you should have got in the previous election. Only such people, such parties are eligible for even getting funding from electoral bond. So that's why I told anybody can just start a party and cannot go and get it. Okay, you have to stand in election, you have to get more than 1% vote, and you should be registered with this Representation of People Act. All this only, then you will be eligible for electoral bond funding. Okay, and only white money is involved because you are paying it through cash or demand draft, and all the KYC norms are also followed through the SBI. So this is the government's defense in that. Okay, so Arun Jaitley once remember explaining that in Parliament. You can watch that video, it will be helpful for you. Okay, so now before going to other articles, you should understand that all these news items which you are doing is part of a free coaching which you are trying to do. So now, till now at least, I think you've been impressed by how we are approaching this. So please put the like now. Okay, hit the like button now before watching the next minute. Okay, hit the like button and also give a comment, and if not subscribed, please subscribe, and subscribe to both the channels. Even in Vice Courses channel, every day a lot of videos are being put, but the subscription is not increasing. Okay, please go and subscribe because we are doing it completely for free. Okay, the editorial articles will come in the Vice IAS channel, and the non-editorial articles, which is also important for your UPSC, that too from every newspaper, Hindu, Indian Express, everything will be covered in Vice Courses. So I want you to now pause the video, hit like and comment on both these channels now itself. Okay, and subscribe also. And other also, one by one, I am forced to halt the lectures because your comments are not coming, because you have to strictly mark the attendance. Okay, you have to, attendance means you have to like and comment. I need the comment, and I go through every comment every day, so I know who is that student who is watching all of our videos. If you're simply watching just one playlist, or one playlist also randomly, maybe first episode then 7th episode, that also I can notice. Okay, because we know who are the frequent people. So please see to that you come into that 100% attendance student list, because you will be getting extra benefits later. Okay, that we cannot reveal now, but you will be getting later if you are a very serious continuous aspirant. Okay, so please see to it that you help us grow, and we will return give you much more than what you need. Okay, that too completely free. So all the things whichever is in halt can be brought back only if you support, because ethics and all, if you see, after 10th episode we stopped it. Post independence, after 5th episode we stopped it. Society, after 20 episodes we stopped it. It's not like we cannot do more, but we have stopped it because the comments were less. So please comment and tell like, please continue, or I have watched it, or thanks, or whatever question is asked in the video, answer that. Okay, this is your task today. Please go and watch all the playlist. Okay, and the frequent questions, without reading this, please don't ask very silly basic questions. Okay, because we don't like repeating to each and every people who contact on WhatsApp. Everything is answered here. Still something other than what is written here, if you have, you come and WhatsApp me or email me. Okay, we'll give you the answer. Now, the first article, as I told, is CBI and Enforcement Director. First thing is the logo, and you will have to know, because nowadays UPSC is asking SSC level question. So they can ask like whether it has this Ashoka emblem, it is there in the center. What is its motto, like industry, impartiality, integrity. This and all they can ask. Okay, because UPSC standards has gone very low since the last 2 to 3 years, that they are asking GK level, SSC level questions. Okay, so if it comes, then we cannot forcefully teach you. Also, you have to notice it. Okay, you have to notice like under which ministry it is, under which year it was passed, whether it's a statutory body. So some information I'll give you now, but entire thing will be there in a prelims test only. Okay, I cannot teach you everything here because it's an editorial video. So these are basic things picked up just for your quick understanding. It was first established, if you see, first establishment, the origin. Okay, origin is actually in the British times, because in the Second World War time there was corruption cases and all, like the procurement of weapons and all these things. There was corruption cases. So British government set up something called the Special Police Establishment Act in 1941. Okay, but later after independence, the Santhanam Committee came. Okay, for prevention of corruption, and they have recommended the establishment of CBI. Okay, and then by a resolution of the Home Ministry it was formed. It is not through an act or something, through an executive kind of resolution under the Home Ministry. This was formed, but later Ministry of Personnel took it up, and now it is actually under Ministry of Personnel. Okay, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances, it's a big name for that ministry. Under that ministry, now CBI is there. But CBI, you should know, it's a very complicated body. It derives powers from various places. That is why you would have seen like it does not have proper power to go and investigate everywhere. Because when you go to a state, Mamata Banerjee will tell like you cannot land here. We will not allow you without my permission. So like that, state center problems are also there. Okay, so how is that? That also a little bit I'll show you. So CBI is the main investigation agency. Okay, and of the government of India, and it's not a statutory body, and where it gets its power is from this Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. If you see the same name which British has used, Delhi Special Police Establishment Act 1946, from that the powers are derived. And also it is working under the supervision of Central Vigilance Commission, CVC. Okay, so that is a statutory body. Okay, CVC Act is there. So in corruption matters and all, CVC only supervise it. Okay, because CVC's main thing is corruption related thing. So CVC will guide it or will be supervising it in terms of Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. So all these things try to note down. Okay, now taking up the cases also is a problem. Okay, so it can take it by itself also. It can be given by the central government also. It can be given by the state also. It can be given by the Supreme Court, High Court also. There are various ways that it gets cases. Okay, so one thing is, if it is related to purely economic thing, okay, like economic or physical law, like income tax, foreign exchange regulation, export, central excise, then the concerned department should be consulted. It's not like they go and simply take it. Okay, the case when they take up, they have to consult with the concerned department of it. Okay, then serious crimes, etc., also is there, which it deals with the organized gang, the international things, the professional criminals. Okay, and also it coordinates the activities of various state police forces. Then on the behest of state government, okay, state government has to approve, then only it can take up case of what is there of public importance in the state also. Okay, then it maintains the crime statistics. Then it is the this thing, the Interpol is there, right, the international police. The that one is coordinated by someone from India, means it is CBI. CBI is the one who is the representative or the one who corresponds with the Interpol directly from India. Okay, so these are important points of CBI. Okay, some more I'll show you. The director, because that is what is the debate now, this article is about that only. So director CBI, Inspector General of Police, under this thing, is responsible for administration of the organization. So he is the highest person. Now till 2014, this director was appointed based on this act only, this DSP Act. Then Lokpal Act came, okay, 2014. So then a committee was formed. A committee will be like a selection committee. They will recommend the name. So here if you see, that is headed by Prime Minister, and it has also leader of opposition, and it also has the Chief Justice of India. If Chief Justice of India is not free, he will tell some other Supreme Court judge to do it. So this is the committee which now looks into the selection of appointment of the this thing. Central government will appoint it, but this is the select committee. Okay, so Home Ministry will send a list of eligible candidate to the Department of Personnel. Okay, that is under the Ministry of Personnel. Then they will prepare the final list based on all these things: seniority, integrity, experience, everything, anti-corruption and everything, and send it to the committee. Okay, so this committee will again look into it, and finally government will appoint it. So director of CBI has been provided security of 2-year tenure by the CVC Act 2003. Now this is what is the article about. This 2-year is now being changed to 5-year. Okay, so that is why the debate is, okay, because maybe they are giving it because this person was very loyal and they are going and raiding all the opposition party people, all the journalists who are against the government. So maybe as an incentive it is being given. So that is being questioned now. Okay, why you are suddenly changing it from 2-year to 5-year? Okay, not only for CBI, for Enforcement Directorate also. So this is one more slide I am showing you theory about what are the cases which can be handled by CBI. One is the special crimes, which I told, okay, under Indian Penal Code and all these things, all the things which will be on the request of state government or order of Supreme Court, High Court, the mafia, kidnapping, bomb blast, terrorism, all these things. Even though we have other bodies also, like a National Investigation Agency, RAW, everything we have, but the CBI also handles special crimes. Then economic crimes, I told, after consulting with those specific department. Then anti-corruption crimes are there. Then there is suo motu case. Suo motu means it can itself take up cases without anybody giving to it, but that can be done only in union territory. Okay, if it is in a state, okay, central government can authorize it, but the state has to give its consent. Okay, if it's in the state. Now one exception to that is if Supreme Court and High Court are giving the CBI the case, then consent of the state is not required. Okay, so this kind of minute things is what UPSC will play with. So I've tried to give minimum information. More are there. Okay, actually many more are there about CBI which I can teach you. It will be all there in my prelims test series. Okay, everything in detail will be there. More detail with this. Okay, so please enroll it. Now Enforcement Directorate is the other body. Okay, so these are all not in Hindu. Okay, I'm teaching you extra. So it's a law enforcement and economic intelligence agency responsible for enforcing economic laws and fighting economic crime. So there are certain acts under which it can take its powers and do the things. Okay, so I'll show you that act also. If you see, it was formed with the purpose of handling this thing first. Okay, exchange control law violation under this Foreign Exchange Act. Okay, there was a Foreign Exchange Act. So for that, this was primarily made, but later its thing expanded. Okay, so initially established under Department of Economic Affairs, which is also under the Ministry of Finance. It later became under Department of Revenue. Okay, now currently it is under Department of Revenue only. Both are under Ministry of Finance only. Okay, so in 1957 only it got renamed to Enforcement Directorate. Before it was Enforcement Unit. Okay, then in 1957 it became Enforcement Directorate. Okay, and 1960 is the time when it came under Department of Revenue. Now you see the same thing. Okay, Ministry of Finance, and headquarters is in Delhi. Many regional offices all over the country, and it is usually headed by an IRS officer. Okay, IRS also is the same exam which you are preparing. IRS you can become, and you can even one day go and head the ED also. Okay, if you join early. Now functions. As I told, there are a lot of acts under which it has powers. Okay, it can go and investigate the FEMA Act, the PMLA Act, that is Foreign Exchange Management, then the Prevention of Money Laundering. This is a UPSC question. UPSC once gave both these acts and asked whether it is there or not. It is true. Okay, and now newly we have the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. Okay, like this Vijay Mallya and all running out of the country. That kind of thing also comes under it. Then there was once a repealed act, Foreign Exchange Regulation Act. Under this also it had this show cause notice powers. Then conservation of foreign exchange and prevention of smuggling activities. This COFE POSA. Okay, this one. This also cases, sponsoring case of this thing. Then cooperation under this money laundering and restoration of assets under the PMLA. So restoring all that asset which is gone, everything comes under the functions of Enforcement Directorate. Anything UPSC asks, you should know it. Okay, so this is all about the theory part which we taught you extra. Now the news article, this is where the news article starts. So news articles, if you see, the new law authorizing an extension of the service of the head of the CBI and an ED until the completion of total tenure of 5 years. This will seriously compromise the autonomy. Okay, and this goes against the spirit of Supreme Court. Earlier there was a case, Vineet Narain versus Union of India 97. From there only they told minimum 2-year thing should be given. 2-year tenure should be given, because like somebody is doing something against the government, immediately they will transfer them or they will dismiss them. So to give them power, give them the rights to go and investigate properly, at least 2 years tenure is given. Okay, but now suddenly it is being expanded. Okay, if you see the latest person who is there now, SK Mishra, who has been doing a lot of good work also, and he is going raiding a lot of opposition people's thing also, and many other black money, everything is coming out. So he is now given a 1-year extension. Okay, 2 years to 3 years it was made. So that time itself Supreme Court questioned it. Okay, so it's like, because it's raising a doubt, like why is it because of the loyalty he is showing towards the government and doing everything against the non-BJP people? Is it why it is given? So that kind of thing. See, is it like a measure of reward? Okay, because they are raiding the opposition party. So that is the question being raised in this thing. Okay, now the two investigation agency, okay, both if you see, Supreme Court that time declined that 1-year extension, declined, and then told like only in rare and exceptional cases that kind of extension should be done, else after 2 years the next person should be brought in. Okay, so after that this central government told that okay, we abide by that order, we will not do again year on year an extension like this. Okay, that was done. Okay, but now this is for this person, for SK Mishra's case, he told, the central government told. So, but what is the guarantee that for future appointees, this will not be done? Okay, so that is why now doubt was there, and in between all this doubt, central government told like, okay, from 2 years, we are directly making it 5 years. And that too, it is not through an act, it was through an ordinance. Government has the power of ordinance. Okay, through president, they can do a ordinance when parliament is not session and get any law passed, okay, for 6 months. So that thing is not good, and that is not what is accepted. Okay, then one more term, if you see here, doctrine of pleasure. Okay, there's something called doctrine of pleasure, which is actually from the England only we have taken. Okay, meaning civil servant can hold his office during the pleasure of the crown, and the service will be terminated any time the crown wishes the same rule. Okay, crown wishes the same. Okay, up to here only, there's a full stop here. Crown wishes. The same rule is applied in India also. Okay, the civil servant, as I told, like within 6 months, 1 year and all, they will sometimes terminate them, transfer them. So that kind of thing is there, doctrine of pleasure. So to dilute that only, you see here, the protection given by a fixed tenure and the use of a high-ranking committee to recommend appointments and transfer. Okay, we have done all this, right? The 2 years and the committee were meant to dilute the doctrine of pleasure implicit in civil service. Okay, because else anybody can terminate anyone at any time. So that is why we did all this. Okay, but now it seems to be like it's like breaching if the extension allowed in exceptional circumstances becomes the rule. Okay, you keep on extending this one by one, then it is like bringing back the doctrine of pleasure only. The government, whenever it has feeling like, okay, this person is very loyal, I'll again give him 3 more years, I'll give him 4 more years, 5 more years. So it's again bringing back the doctrine of pleasure, which we tried to dilute already by doing all this. Okay, I hope it's clear, else read it one more time, you will understand. Okay, this is what has happened with this article. Now the second one, Pegasus, this imaginary horse kind of thing in the Greek mythology. So in that name we have a software, Israeli company. So this is not I explained already. That's why I'm telling, if you watch editorial every day itself, you have a high chance of clearing exam. Okay, because 3 times, 4 times in 2 weeks, I already explained Pegasus. So any kind of fact which comes in the newspaper, you are covering it. Okay, plus the MCQ which you solve in test series will be guaranteeing you that you are going to pass the prelims. Okay, and then the mains also. Because one thing I'll tell you, editorial is important for prelims, mains, interview, and also the CSAT paper. Okay, because in CSAT, articles comes, passages comes, that usually comes from either the editorial or from the economic survey or from some other down-to-earth kind of magazine. Okay, environment kind of magazine, they'll pick it. So if you do editorial, you have a high chance of solving CSAT questions also. Now, it's an Israeli expensive software and all I told you, and the many opposition leaders, journalists, everybody's name were there in that. So that is why we need inquiry, and already last article we discussed that Supreme Court has put a committee to inquire into it, and it's a good move. Okay, but government is still like stonewalled, not answering any queries. Even the parliament session did not happen on time, and also author is telling about some Watergate scandal which happened in USA where the president had to step down because of that this kind of some problem. But in India, business is happening as usual. There is no impact. Government is not answering anything. They are not answering to RTI. They are not answering to anything. Okay, so this article doesn't have much point pointers, but they're telling the different examples of across the world which happened. Okay, so again in London they are telling like some high profile ruler, he put some bug kind of software in his wherever he had his assistant, his bodyguard, his wife, his children, everywhere, because for the welfare of his two children he wanted to spy everything, so he also did it. So everybody is using this across the world. Okay, USA, when it came to know that it is like too much spying and too much the right to privacy was violated, it put the NSO group itself in blacklist. Okay, but in India nothing is there. India has neither looked into the fact nor blocked the hacker. Okay, so that is why as I'm telling, London, USA scandal, then here USA blacklisting NSO group, this and all you can use in your mains answers. For that extra points only we are discussing this. Okay, so blatant denial of right to information, then parliamentary questions are not there, then PILs are not being responded, nothing is happening. Okay, so on October 27 we already saw it last week that Chief Justice of India, okay, this person had set up a 3-member independent expert committee. Okay, and in the full world this is the first ever time that court Chief Justice is inquiring something against Pegasus. So that's also a very well appreciated move. Okay, because this is like suppression of rights is there, and some people are giving positive response, some people wanted greater relief. More than this, they wanted to like question the government directly, do the parliament session like that. It's there, but government is consistently silent. Okay, and if at all they tell something, somebody, if they come in spokesperson in TV channel and all, they will tell it is for national security. Okay, so this simply telling the word national security is not enough, you have to tell detailing of it. Okay, so the court turned down the government's request to allow it to set up the inquiry committee. The central government, they themselves told, okay, we'll set up an inquiry committee. But the accused, the central government is themselves the accused here. So how can they be the one who set up the committee? So they told, the court told it's against the principle of natural justice. So you cannot set up the committee. We'll set up the committee and you will be investigated. Okay, because else it will violate the judicial principle, the basis judicial principle. Okay, now WhatsApp in 2019 had already told this, okay, long back. WhatsApp in 2019 told that there is like infiltration of the device happening. Some people's thing are being checked, some external thing is being done. Okay, WhatsApp told it, but nobody told anything. See, WhatsApp in 2019 notified the government, but no response was there. After that, only 2020 again, this Amnesty group told like, okay, some 9 individuals in India have been targeted. Later, now it became too much news when July 2021, when this consortium of 17 media organization, that is a Pegasus leak we call, in that they told more than 50,000 people from 45 countries are being spied, in which there are 300 Indians who are journalists, lawyers, politicians, even Rahul Gandhi's name and all is there in that. So then only it became major news. Okay, till then 2019, 20 and all, it was being ignored. Okay, so these are all data you can use, 2019, 20, 21. Now, right to privacy is one thing. Okay, privacy, we know it is not a guaranteed right earlier. Okay, but then Supreme Court told that right to privacy is like a fundamental right under Article 21. That was prelims question also. Okay, right to privacy is under Article 21. Okay, it's a prelims question of 2021, so you should be knowing. And also court has told like the snooping or the spying which you do can be justified only on 3 occasions. Okay, the restriction must be by law, meaning there should be a law in which with support of which you are doing this, or it should be necessary and only if other means are not available, meaning there is no other option. The last resort you should use the spying kind of technology. Okay, then it must promote a legitimate state interest like national security. You should prove it that actually there is a threat of national security. Okay, without that you cannot simply violate anybody's right. And also it is questioning like, you did all this spying, after that now have you caught anyone which is terrorist, or is there an evidence like your snooping has given something, or simply you spied everyone? Okay, was there any national security result which you got out of it? That also you have to tell. Okay, else it is a complete abusal of surveillance power. Okay, in the name of national security you are doing that. Then another right along with right to privacy, one more point you can write in your answer is freedom of speech. Okay, people's freedom of speech is getting affected, and the freedom of press, journalists, everybody are getting spied, and so it is like a chilling effect on the basic civil right of freedom of speech. Okay, this editorial article name itself is like reversing the chilling effect. Okay, so you are now in like a chilling effect because your all rights are being violated, so you are now trying to reverse it through this court committee. Okay, now again if you see here, this person, one lawyer, he has told like, court should ask the government to answer whether it ordered spying on citizens who are not accused of any crime. Okay, meaning did they spy randomly like any citizen, any people? And if they tell yes, it should be made liable, meaning central government should be punished or they should be accused for that. Or if government refuse to answer or say no, then what is the court expected to do? This is what the committee has to find out. Okay, so the committee's task, this person is telling what it should be. Okay, because he's a lawyer, he's telling, if they tell yes, what to do, if they tell no, what to do, this is what the committee should come up with. Okay, not simply agree to this, they tell like, okay, it is national security. Okay, this is the Pegasus article. So extra points I hope you have got. Okay, here if you see one more slide, it's like repetition. Okay, the committee members, right, the chairman and the members were chosen with great care. This is what the court has told. It's not like randomly taken. Very carefully we have taken the best people who will be neutral and they'll be deciding it. Okay, and who decides this, on what basis, at what cost, everything was mentioned by the court. Okay, and if you see, this does not mean that the state gets a free pass every time in the specter of national security raised. And it's a mere violation of Part 3, that is fundamental rights. It undermines the democracy and converts elected leaders to absolute dictators. These are extreme statements. If you need to criticize the government, criticize the question answer, then you can use this kind of statements in your opening line or in the middle, but you can bold it and keep it. Okay, because always there should be some lines which are catchy, because from that the examiner who is correcting your paper should know that, okay, you know the context and you are telling, you are justifying that point with points. Okay. Now, bats misunderstood. So bats, everybody feels like bats is like one of the worst creature and it is like spreading all the diseases. So bats are misunderstood. That is what we are trying to tell. Okay, there is ecosystem services in environment. This topic is there, ecosystem services. That is, everyone will be having some role to play in the environment. So bats have a very major role, and if you are thinking to kill all the bats and then feel like, okay, now no disease will come, that is actually an incorrect thing. Okay, bats are actually saving us from a lot of other diseases also. That is what the author is trying to tell with examples also. Okay, where humans and bats are living in harmony with each other. Okay, so they are just starting like a story. Like, imagine you are returning from work and you look up the sky, you will see like a lot of winged mammals called bats. Okay, even evening you simply go to your terrace or something and go and see, you will see a lot of bats flying around. Okay, so in India alone, there is 128 species, okay, of bats, 128 types, and 1,200 species worldwide. Okay, that is one factual information. Now, throughout the night, these bats, if you maybe you are not aware, they eat these insects and all in the field, forest, grassland, including agriculture pest, then disease-causing mosquitoes. Okay, mosquitoes also is a major threat. Okay, now because of corona, everybody has forgotten it. It causes the dengue, the chikungunya, the Zika, malaria. Many things are there where many people die almost every year. Okay, but people have forgotten that. People are not taking it seriously. It is because of these bats that many of these are not existing. Okay, because these are all dying because of the bats. And also in the sipping nectar, pollination of flowers, eating fruits, and spread the seeds of many important trees. Okay, because the seeds will be spread from one place to another. So wild varieties of banana, guava, cashew, mango, mahua, all these things are being created or being existing because of the bats' activities in the night, which we are not aware. Okay. A study in Thailand also shows that one species of the bat prevented the loss of around 2,900 tons of rice. Okay, then their droppings, which is called as guano, they mined from caves, are widely used as fertilizer also. So like that, there are many things in favor of the bats also, favor of the agriculture system also. Okay, but unfortunately, we don't know these critical roles which the bats play. We don't have a proper studies. In India, there is no good studies which has been done on the ecosystem services that bats provide. Okay, because of COVID-19, the fear is there, growing fear of further disease transmission from bats. This is the only thing which people know. Okay, wherever you search or wherever you ask someone, they tell only about this. Okay, because they are the natural reservoirs of many of the viruses and bacteria which causes Nipah, this Hendra, Marburg, Ebola. Okay, why I'm telling all this? Because UPSC will exactly put this in options. Okay, like what all are the things for which the bat act as a reservoir. So you should, that time in exam hall, you would have never heard Hendra, Marburg and all. Okay, but UPSC will ask you. They are doing it since 3 years. They'll again ask you. Okay, now, despite being reservoirs of virus, interesting thing is this bat will never fall sick. You would have never heard like bat is getting corona, bat is getting Nipah. Okay, they are spreading it. So its author is telling like bat, because of its long flying mechanisms and all these things, it has acquired something called the autoimmune response. Okay, they are got the immunity. Okay, because they have the ability to limit excessive inflammatory response. Okay, humans, how it is like, it is going into our lungs and then that inflammation happens and finally people are dying. Okay, but bats have acquired the autoimmune response because of high flying activity. Okay, which is a stressful business, they are telling, and because of that it is having protection from all the chronic diseases. Okay, if you see, even the aging of bats, they're telling it is very slow, and bats live longer, and one of the longest lived mammals for their body size, meaning in their size, any mammals if you take, bats have a longer lifespan. Okay, so this kind of interesting factor there, that's why I'm discussing this article. Okay, so bat has immunity, Bat can fight chronic age-related diseases. It ages slower. It lives longer compared to other mammals of their body size. It has a good immune system, flying long distances. These are the factual things you have to know. Okay. Now, we have suddenly become aware of the several viruses bat carry because they could spill over to us. Okay, but this spillovers, okay, the transmission of pathogens from the natural host or reservoir to the novel host such as humans are unusual and rare event. Okay, like bat and humans are staying in the same place since many centuries and decades and thousands of years. But now suddenly you are hearing all this. This is not the bat's fault. Actually, it is humans who are modifying the landscapes. Okay, you are going and doing mining in their natural cave where they were peacefully living, or you are going and cutting the forest and then destroying their homes. So obviously they will get disturbed. Whenever they are disturbed, they get stressed. So when they get stressed, they shed viruses. The viruses which they are holding, it will come out of their body, and that is what is increasing the spillover. In China and all, they are catching it, and then it's their food. They are having bat soup, bat whatever they eat for dinner and all these things. They have bat in every hotel, every restaurant, every market. So obviously you are going and destroying them and disturbing them and causing stress. That is how the spillover is happening. Okay, which result in viral shedding. Okay, so how bats and humans can coexist in certain areas, this study has to be done properly, and already some people have started doing it. I'll show you examples. Okay, so we still do not know about ecology of bats, even in the context of viruses. So are chances of spillover higher in areas with more bat species? Okay, does it mean like too many bats are there means there lot of corona case will come? Is there a proven study? Or there like are viruses shed by bat throughout the year, or is it seasonal? Okay, so this kind of detailing you have to know and you have to document it. And examples are given here. Indigenous people have already mastered this. Indigenous people, they are telling here example of something called the Bomber clan in Nagaland. This is what in prelims they will pick and ask. Okay, Bomber clan in Nagaland is there. They traditionally have this annual bat harvest festival. They go and catch the bat also, kill them also, eat them also, but nothing happens to them. Okay, no major disease outbreak among this clan. Okay, they gather at a place called Mimi, and they smoke. Okay, they put a full smoke in this bat cave. All the bat will start coming out. They will kill them for consumption. Okay, in this process the bats are even biting them, scratching them, all these things, but they are not getting diseases. Okay, so now this body, National Center for Biological Sciences and aided Center of Department of Atomic Energy, they are carrying out a sero-ecological studies on the human bat interface. Okay, they are doing this study and trying to find out like what is this thing. Okay, why is this happening? So they are finding that the genetic thing, okay, it is there shared between both the bats and humans. Both bats and humans have shared antibody response to some viral families indicative of a spillover, meaning like there's something called this herd immunity kind of thing. Okay, one person will get immune, everybody together will also get immune because they're interacting too much, or once the disease comes into your body automatically generates the antibodies required for it. Okay, even the vaccination which you're taking, it is the virus only they're injecting again into you, and that is how antibodies are generated. Okay, so antibody generation has naturally happened over the years, and they have become self-immune. Okay, these kind of populations are all have become immune, and they're sharing the antibody response with the bats. Okay, this is what they have found, even though more detailing is required. And also they are also in the process of sequencing of whole genome of bat virus. Okay, that body is doing sequencing so that any future outbreaks, it can be prevented if we study more. And also for that, the local practices, traditions, this and all can serve as a guide. Okay, because we are seeing that these people are immune to it. So from that you can learn all this by testing their blood, their antibody, their immune response. You can learn. So our rich biodiversity and cultural things will help us be a topper kind of people in countries in studies of these bat viruses. Okay, but ultimately bat carry many virus. So how we can continue to coexist with them, this is what you have to learn. So short term and long term they have given solutions also. Short term means avoid handling of this thing. Okay, eating bat directly like Chinese people are doing, don't do that. Then don't eat the fallen fruits, okay, which are like half you can see when it is like some bit by something else, you will understand that such fruits please don't eat because it will have contamination of bat fluids. Okay, and in longer term what you have to do is reversing the land use change practices. Okay, don't go and spoil their mines where they live or the caves, or don't go and spoil the forest. So the ecosystem, if you keep it in balance, then you will also survive longer. Okay, because various ecosystem services are there: water, clean air, pollination. There is a concept called One Health, which the author has told. One Health means this only: we and the nature have to coexist. Okay, regain the balance with nature and animals through a combination of habitat restoration and coexistence with wildlife such as bats. So this One Health concept also UPSC can ask you. Okay, you and nature and everyone living together in harmony, coexisting. Okay, so global commitment should be there for reduction of habitat loss, preservation and restoration of natural habitat and biodiversity. When fewer bat around us will be one that suffers greater crop loss due to Because if there are lesser bats, I told you, the crop loss will be more, the mosquitoes will be more, the diseases transmitted by mosquitoes will be again higher, then this mahua, all these things can cause other problems if bats doesn't exist. So fewer bats is not your solution, but repairing their places and then coexisting with them in this One Health concept is the main long-term solution. Okay. Now, European Union and Indo-Pacific. So this is the last article I think for today. So EU strategy for cooperation for the Indo-Pacific. So this kind of meetings are happening and they are all coming into it. You should know the reason for it. Okay, China is always a problem. Everybody have problem with it, especially US China. This tensions are always increasing. Okay, long back it was US Russia, but now it's like US China, and you know Russia is always with the side of China only. Both are communist countries, so that problem is there. Now Indo-Pacific region, okay, where all the the islands are there, the Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, all those areas, okay, in Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean region, they have been the point of the contention. That is where USA is trying to take control or China is taking to control. India is also a major player there. So now you know different bodies you would have seen. Quad is there where Australia, Japan, India, USA is there. And also after that AUK US was formed last month where Australia, UK, USA came together. So here if you see, there is no European Union. Okay, so seeing all this, what will Europe take a stand? What will Europe decide? What is their position in Indo-Pacific? That is what we are discussing in this article. Okay, so Europe's Asia Connect is old, strong and multi-layered. Okay, since long time Europe is connected with Asia. Since the time of, you can tell decades ago from the Roman Empire time, you know, we have connections. Okay, so since 2018, if you see, countries such as France, Netherlands, Germany, UK, all have individual policy in the Indo-Pacific. Okay, they have some islands there, or they are signing up something with India or Australia, New Zealand. They're doing something. But European Union as a whole is in process. They have not signed a major one where EU versus Asia kind of signature has not done. Okay, even though they are coordinating with the RCEP, they're coordinating with the this one CPTPP. Okay, in which 11 countries are there now. USA is not there. So that groupings and all they are having, but a proper thing they have not done. But recently, September 16, they were unveiling that photo which I showed you, unveiling the EU strategy for cooperation in the Indo-Pacific. Okay, the Council of European Union, they have come up with some conclusion and are going to announce something. Okay, and Brussels is their headquarters there. So there they are telling we are natural partner. Okay, anyway, EU and Indo-Pacific is a natural partner, and they are now going to increase that. They are going to enhance the EU engagement across a wider spectrum. So that spectrum I have underlined here, what all they are going to do. Okay, the Sustainable Development Goal, rule-based international order, promote a level playing field for trade and investment, then true inclusive policy making. Here if you see sustainable inclusive prosperity, green transition, ocean governance, digital governance, connectivity, security and defense, human security. So in all these, that's why they call wider spectrum. We are going to sign policies and going to work on all these things between EU and Indo-Pacific region. Okay, so it's a security and development dimensions are being covered. Now, EU security and defense capabilities are quite limited. Okay, because you know USA and China, if they are seen as competitors, US and China has huge number of nuclear weapons and all these things they have. Okay, defense capability, assets, everything. So EU alone should not be doing anything without consulting with the individual countries. Okay, they have to take France into their discussions because France has sizable asset and have already linkages with Indo-Pacific. Then you have to coordinate with UK because they already have plans there with something called Great Britain strategy. Okay, because you know after the Brexit, Britain is going and signing this thing everywhere, MOUs everywhere. So France and Britain especially, they have to take into consideration while designing the EU special general policy also. That is what the author is telling. Now EU, one good thing is they are a major economic power. Okay, so they have a great chance of success. Okay, they can do trade negotiation easily with Australia, Indonesia, New Zealand. Then they are in concluding discussion with already this East African community. Okay, East Africa is meaning again Indian Ocean. So East African community people they are having. Then fisheries agreement and green alliance with interested partners to fight climate change. All these things they have high chance of success. So they should push in a lot of funding and money, like if you see financial resources and technology. That is their strength. Okay, even though weapons and defense may be lesser, but this is their strength. This they should push in and do more and more MOUs with all those countries there. Okay, but problem is in EU there are internal divisions also. Some people are seeing China as a great opportunity, that going and seeing them as China as great opportunity, and some are seeing China as a challenge also. So that thing is there. So again people are telling like China either dominate in Asia or the bipolarity. Okay, that is like a new Cold War. Earlier, like as I told, USA Russia is there, now USA China is there. So this new Cold War, anything is not serving Europe interest. Okay, so people all have different thoughts in EU itself. So that has to be settled. You have to come to one side, like either you are going to support USA USA, you are going to support China, or you are going to do your own policy. So everything you have to have that internal divisions has to be cancelled first, and only then you can proceed. Okay. Again, they are telling as a conclusion the risk which EU can face. Okay, like Russia is there next to China, which is also a threat and always taking China's side, and EU can easily cooperate with Quad if they want. Okay, but now when AUK this one came, right, France and all is not happy. Okay, because UK went and joined this Australia USA, which usually doesn't happen. So France is not happy. France was not invited to that thing, so France is not happy. So this kind of problems also should be solved, internal problems, because ultimately these are all part of EU only. Okay, UK, France, everything. UK anyway went out, but still geographically they are together. Okay, so they have to bolster the naval technological facilities. Then EU needs is an internally coordinated approach. This is the same thing I told in previous slide also. They have to ask France, they have to ask UK, they have to ask Germany. Only then you should come up with a general policy. Now final points are India and EU. Okay, India will be pleased only, India will be happy only if EU is also coming, because we do a lot of trade with them, we have a lot of things with them, and already good things are happening, because May 8th we had a meeting. After that also external affairs minister in September 3 had a meeting. So India EU is in discussions. Okay, so the author is telling earlier conclusion, okay, of all these trade agreements and all will be major steps. The earlier you do, that will be better. Then there should be cooperation on this industry 4.0 technology, the new things. Okay, the new technologies they should start sharing, upgrading defense ties with France, Germany, UK. Then it should be more candid, meaning like how it is naturally more candid, more assertive with China, and more cooperative with India. This is the final conclusion. Okay, be yourself, assert on China, and cooperate with India. This is the overall summary which the author is telling. So like this, a very detailed article on EU strategy on Indo-Pacific is given for your GS2 paper. You can use this. So I have tried to do it in very much detailing. I hope you have liked and commented on this video. Else all this effort which we do, we will not be able to feel like doing with the same interest next time. Okay, please support us. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share it to more people. WhatsApp me, especially if you're not on my WhatsApp, because that gives you the video links every single day on your WhatsApp. Okay, so please subscribe both the channels. I'll come up with next episode. Thank you and have a nice day.